So I finally seen it. Finally seen the movie. 2021. The year 2021 when I finally watched this movie. X-Men Dark Phoenix, or just known as Dark Phoenix. I finally sat down and watched it. I avoided pretty much everything. I avoided spoilers, I avoided the trailers, I avoided all of it because I'm like, I knew this was coming out, I knew the sequel or the finale to the First Class series. I knew it would be done after this, and I really was like, okay, I really want to see how this all play out, but I want to watch it in theaters. Well, when that movie came out in June of 2019, I never got to the theaters to watch it. Endgame came out that year. Endgame was hype, and that was the finale to the Avengers Saga. So X-Men tried to do the same thing the same year, and it just didn't land to me. This movie isn't bad like people were making it out to be, but it just didn't land, and it sucked because of it. It sucks that this movie didn't land because it's a fine movie. It's a fine movie, and I'm ready to break it down on this episode of Movie Breakdowns. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka, and we're Movie Breakdowns, a movie review series. We're looking at new and old movies, give them a grade A through F. Plus and minuses do count. And if there's a movie you want me to review, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below, and I'll get to it as best I can. I also have a Patreon, Patreon/Ali Zakka, and on that Patreon, you can get first come, first serve. So you're paying for my services, I'm gonna review the movie you asked for just like that and put it up for you on Patreon so you can watch it. Yeah, it'll come out months later on YouTube and Facebook, but heck, you already got it on Patreon. You already got all the content you want. And they have another tier which you get extra content such as trailer review, trailer reaction, and much more stuff. Now, let's go ahead and get into today's episode of X-Men Dark Phoenix, or just Dark Phoenix. Now, this is gonna have spoilers in it for a movie that's 2 years old now. It's gonna have spoilers. Sorry about you. You didn't watch it, go find the movie, watch it, enjoy it, and tell me what your thoughts are. You come back in the comment section. But I'm not getting all to spoilers. So what is this movie about? Based off the trailer, it's about the Dark Phoenix Saga. It's about the Phoenix Saga in the X-Men series. The X-Men go into space. They encounter the Phoenix Force. It takes over Jean Grey, and Jean Grey is now fighting the X-Men. That is pretty much the premise of this movie. It's directed by Simon Kinberg, so it wasn't directed by Bryan Singer and wasn't directed by Matthew Vaughn, I believe that's his name, who did the First Class movie, and Bryan Singer did, Days of Future Past and Apocalypse. He didn't do this one, which he directed X-Men 1 and 2 and didn't do The Last Stand, which The Last Stand, X-Men 3, had the Dark Phoenix in there, or had the Phoenix Saga in there, and you thought that maybe he's going to wrap it up this time. No, Singer's like, I'm out. Again, right when you get to the Dark Phoenix, or get to the Phoenix. And on top of that, at the end of Apocalypse, a lot of people mention this, that didn't Jean Grey release the Phoenix against Apocalypse to beat him? Like, she had the Phoenix Force and everything, but I guess it was just her psychic abilities taking over. So I thought she already had the Phoenix inside of her, but I'm glad they did go more to the comic books for having the Dark Phoenix, having the Phoenix Force take over Jean. But it wasn't really, I felt like it was the main piece, but it also wasn't the main piece. Like, there was other things to take away from, like, Jean Grey's not really the bad guy in this movie. She's just somebody who trying to deal with having this newfound ability that's seeming to be taking over her, or making her lose her grip on her powers. So she doesn't know how to control it, but it's not really like she's the bad guy, and it throws me off. And this movie is fast paced at first. Like, you start off, there's an incident, they're immediately in space, and they got the Phoenix Force inside of her, and then after that, she has the Phoenix Force inside of her, she explodes, they go to her parents' place because she finds out that, Charles Xavier had been hiding childhood trauma. Instead of letting her deal with it as a kid, just blocked it out of her life. And the walls that, in X-Men 3, they talked about the wall that, Charles Xavier put in place to keep her sustained and keep Jean Grey from losing her abilities. Well, in this movie, he put these walls in place to keep her from reliving a childhood trauma that actually would have built up. And what was that childhood trauma? She killed her mom by mistake to have her shut off the music, and the dad didn't want anything to do with his daughter who was a mutant, so he abandoned her and just left her in the take of Charles Xavier, who brought her in. Now, should Charles told her that at the very beginning? Yeah, that would have actually avoided a lot of the issues in this movie, but he didn't. He went to the very end of the movie where they had this talk, and she was like, "Oh, you're not a dick, Charles. I'm sorry for everything I've done." And some of the writing pieces in this movie do make you think things like, well, why they write it that way, or why they write it this way, or why they written this way, or why they brought these characters in. And who are the antagonists of this movie? You will say Jean Grey, but then it shifts to Jessica Chastain's character, who is Vox, or Vogue, V-U-X. Vox, I don't even know who that is. They don't really explain. They just say like she's an alien. Her group are tracking down the Phoenix Force to destroy their planet, and they're going to use the Phoenix Force to take over Earth. Okay. But if you don't get really any connection to them, matter of fact, you can just throw them all out and be perfectly fine. But, you know, they're there, and they do add up to a pretty cool action piece at the end of the movie where, you know, the X-Men are working together to fight the aliens off and try to save Jean Grey, and then Jean Grey just pretty much obliterates them at the end of the movie and turns into the Phoenix Force herself. And that's it. That's kind of X-Men. And then there's much more stuff going on in this. There's much more stuff going on into this. You have Mystique, who dies probably within the first 20 to 30 minutes of the movie, and you're like, oh, that is sad, but I don't feel anything. Like, she says, "I love you" to the Beast, but once again, there was nothing that really showed that they really cared about each other. You had First Class that had a little bit of them, like, a little relationship, and then they kind of went separate in Days of Future Past. Apocalypse, they kind of would never really rekindle, and then I guess beginning of this movie they kind of showed them like, oh, we're a little bit more of a thing, but you never knew there's a relationship. So when she dies, you're just like, oh, okay. I don't feel anything. Is that bad? I don't feel anything? And this movie does happen. It happened in 1992, so it's like 10 years since, 9 or 10 years since the events of Apocalypse. So they put, you know, they got older, things happen. The X-Men are now seen as heroes in this movie, and you're also like, it'd be neat to kind of see that arc, how the president now shows them as heroes, how people don't look at the X-Men as villains or people, or, you know, people antagonists of the community, or, you know, criminals. They just look at them as normal people, just like me and you. That would have been perfectly fine, but the movie doesn't really latch on to that. It's just like, oh, Jean Grey decides to attack some officers. She's destroying her, you know, hometown. Look, all mutants are bad again. You gotta get mutants underneath, putting control on custody and stuff like that. And you're just like, that's a huge conclusion. The X-Men been doing all this stuff to make themselves look good and superhero, and there's toys and kids are clamoring for them. And then I go from that to villains real quick. That doesn't make any sense. Hold on, hold the phone. Hold the phone. Another thing about this movie that also got me is like, they just won't leave Magneto alone. They won't leave Magneto alone. He is, once again, by himself, off on his lonesome, got like a safe haven for mutants. Jean Grey comes in, the military comes after Jean Grey out of nowhere, which I don't know how the military figured Jean Grey was there, but they show up. Magneto tries to save the military, and then Hank shows up later to say, yo, Magneto, Jean Grey killed Mystique. Oh, Magneto gonna kill Jean Grey. So Magneto puts on the helmet and he goes bad again. And him and Charles Xavier had that little split spat. And then they fighting each other. And they trying to kill Jean Grey. Now Jean Grey turns on them. And it's a lot going on, but I feel like it wasn't really fleshed out well. I think if they would have had just Jean Grey trying to come to the terms of, you know what, I don't know what I am. Please just let me be for a moment so I can accept this and go on, and, you know, have her come to those terms and agreements by herself, that inner turmoil, or maybe like I want to talk it out, versus having like this alien force, like we want to take over her, we want to take the power from her, and then, you know, Magneto, like, I'm gonna get involved and try to kill her. It was like a little too much, and then it just turns into, the third act literally just turns from, well, we're all gonna kill her, to she did nothing wrong, there's an alien inside of her and the aliens want to take over. So now our full fight is against the aliens. She's perfectly fine. No repercussions. Okay, let's fight the aliens, which is a pretty cool fight scene. Jean Grey fights the aliens, and then just like all is kind of forgiven. It's a fine movie. It's a fine movie. The CGI in this movie is not great at all. It's for 2019. I felt like it was off. I feel like the CGI could have been better. It just seemed weird at times. It really looked like, you know, mid 2004, 2005 CGI. It just seemed off. That was not a strong point of this movie. For a movie that had a lot of CGI in it, it wasn't really the strongest point. But it's a fine movie. The acting is good to great. Like Magneto, and you know, Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy, they bring it every time. Sophia Turner, she brought it in this movie. Like, you believe those characters. It was just like the writing for those characters to get to those points, like for Beast to get to the point where he like deeply loves Mystique. It was just like, we never really felt that. We never really got that on screen. And speaking of characters, let's go ahead and get into the cast. James McAvoy as Charles Xavier, great. Michael Fassbender as Magneto, great. Matter of fact, speaking of Charles Xavier, like, they actually made him like seem like kind of a dick at the beginning of the movie. Like, he didn't care about his X-Men. He was so more focused on his goal, making sure that everybody loves mutants, that he was willing to throw his X-Men into situations. Matter of fact, there's a line where Raven says to Charles Xavier, how many calls it the X-woman, because the woman's always protecting the man in a situation. And I was like, that's actually a good talking point, but that came out of nowhere for a moment. I was like, we haven't really seen much of anything besides, you know, Jean Grey saving everybody after Quicksilver and Nightcrawler went in to save people. If they just got the job done the first time, that comment wouldn't be warranted. So it was almost a comment that came out like nowhere, but it's a good talking point at the time of day. Like today, that conversation is definitely worth having. Definitely worth like, okay, we can see what's going on here. Like, equal rights, let's do it, you know, and all those topics. But in this movie, at the beginning of the movie, it was like, we need a little bit more than just that moment, because the X-Men always been a team, so it's always been a team effort, and for her to throw that out was like, whoa. But since like Charles Xavier not doing anything, I can see that. If that was the reason why she was mad, because Charles Xavier didn't really stick his neck out and get into the dirt, I can see that. But for her to throw that into his face, I was like, that came out of left field. Okay. So that was one-off comment that like threw me off for a moment. But yeah, he did a good job. James McAvoy did a good job portraying that character and kind of come to the conclusion that, like, you know what? I need to step away from this all. I've been too much into Charles Xavier character, saying like I need to step away from it all. I've been too focused on what the goal was and not caring about others. Yeah, I think James McAvoy really displayed Charles Xavier well. Michael Fassbender as Magneto, great. This should leave Magneto alone. At this point, I'm tired of seeing Magneto being by himself and getting brought into the situation over and over again. But he did great for what his character was. Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique. For the part she was in the movie, I thought she did fine. Nicholas Holt as Hank McCoy, the Beast. He did okay. He had a crying scene in the movie, like probably a different level of emotion I never got from him in other movies. Like, I seen him as a panic kid in you know, First Class, or giving the anxiety to like guy like this is how it should be kind of guy, to now like, okay, well, look at more different. And I guess his love for Mystique really driven him in this movie. I just felt like that love wasn't strong enough for those characters. But I thought, you know, Nicholas Holt did a good job. Sophie Turner, I'll call her Sophia Turner. Sophie Turner as Jean Grey, great. She did a fine job. When she was supposed to be like panicked and scared, she expressed that. When she was like, I'm supposed to feel good and like, yeah, I'm driving, got it. Like, I felt that. Like, she was a believable character to me. Ty Sheridan and Scott Summers, Cyclops, fine. Alexandra Shipp as Storm, fine. Evan Peters as Quicksilver, fine. And then Cody Smith McPhee as Nightcrawler, I thought he did fine as well. I felt the writing for Nightcrawler wasn't strong enough. There's a scene where Nightcrawler like loses it and just goes all in, like destroying people left and right. But we never really had that moment. Like, if you're a fan of Nightcrawler, you know that he's kind of a pacifist. He doesn't really like to fight. It's shown in Apocalypse. It's shown in X-Men 2, but we never really seen him like struggle with it as much. Like he doesn't really have that struggle in the X-Men series to say like, I don't like fighting guys, I'm gonna just stay out of it, I really don't want to fight. And so in this movie where he has that moment where he's like, I gotta fight, it doesn't hold as much weight as it should. And it's because writing of it. And I think that's the problem with having two different directors. Bryan Singer directed, you know, X-Men Apocalypse and Days of Futures Past, and Simon Kinberg directed this one. And I think because they're two different directors, they had two different views on certain characters, and it just, I feel like this connecting between two stories wasn't done well enough for those moments to be like gravitas. Jessica Chastain as Vuk, she's okay. She was literally a character who was there like, I'm here because we're gonna take your power, and you know, you did this to us, and we want to, you know, get the power back from the Phoenix so we can take over your world and kill everybody. Yes, it was just pure like no emotion, just character. But for who she was fine. So yeah, the cast is okay. It was okay. It was good. You know, they're not gonna be any star-studded performances out of this. Like you're not gonna remember much of this movie. Like, oh my gosh, this is the movie, part of the movie I remember. This is the greatest part. Like this movie's a fine movie. It's okay. The CGI wasn't so good. The music is solid though. I love the music. The soundtrack I probably will listen to a few times over. But yeah, it's an okay movie. Let's see if there's anything else I need to talk about here. The last thing I really talked about here is, I think, like I said, Raven's death in my notes. It should have meant more, and it didn't. Like Mystique being in all four of the new movies, and it felt like it just didn't have that much weight on everybody. Besides, you know, Charlie Xavier, Magneto felt a little bit, Charlie Xavier and Hank McCoy, but everybody else should have been like more down. It should have been more of a, like this person was a face of mutants at one point. I just didn't feel like it was that strong. I feel like, like I said, the Phoenix Force was the main part of the movie, but somehow falling towards the middle of the wayside when like Hank and Magneto went after her. She just kind of like went off screen for a moment, and they was like, all right, the rest of the team got to get together now and try to handle this. And then it came back towards the end where she kind of pops up and does the whole like train scene. And then the villains are not great. It's just disposable, plug-in place villains. Hey, there's a whole bunch of them, which we didn't know how many it was. Like, how many of these aliens are coming out of here? I didn't know. So I had no idea what, like, should I be afraid for the mutants? Should I not be afraid? Like, oh, they're gonna get out of it. And then at the end of the movie where like Jean Grey does like, you know, the Goku Super Saiyan destroy everything, you're just like, well, or Superman comes in and kick everybody's butt, you're like, there's nothing to worry about. They'll be fine. And the ending of it all, the conclusion, Charles Xavier steps away. Magneto joined Charles Xavier in France. They play a game of chess. Hank McCoy is now the head of the Jean Grey Institute. It's not named Mystique or Charles Xavier anymore. It's Jean Grey's Institute. And that's it. That's pretty much it. It just kind of like ends. Should you watch, is this a Friday night movie? No, I don't think this is a Friday night movie. The movie worth watching on Friday night. You could be okay not watching on a Friday night. Grading time, I'm going to grade Dark Phoenix a solid C. It's a C. It's not as bad as people make it out to be. That's one thing I would say. People are making this movie sound like it's like one of the worst movies of all time. One of the worst movies in the X-Men series. Of the four reboots, I guess, of First Class, you know, Days of Futures Past, Apocalypse, and Dark Phoenix, is definitely the weakest of the four. Not gonna lie. Out of X-Men Origins, the Wolverine, and Logan, wow, that's a solid one. Like, I would put it somewhere between Origins and Logan. And out of the first three, I would put it, you know, right there, probably next to Last Stand. It's just an okay X-Men movie. It's nothing to like be or be like yeah, like nothing like that. It's just like you're just like it's fine. It's fine. You're gonna watch it. You're gonna be okay with it. You might not like it. You might like it. I thought it was okay. Didn't think it was anything too spectacular. It's a solid C movie. Things could be better? Yes. Could things been much worse? Yes. Right there in the middle. Average. C. If you guys seen Dark Phoenix or X-Men Dark Phoenix. What did you think? Please put in the comment section below. Here's what the thoughts are. And thank you guys for watching this episode of Movie Breakdowns. See you next time. And keep being awesome. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I really appreciate it. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, you want to see what else I'm doing in my normal life and other things that's going on, please follow me on Instagram at Ali_Zakka. I'll put it right here around my face. Yep, right there. Also, if you want more episodes of movie breakdowns or grind towards success or whatever it is I'm doing on YouTube, you know what? Follow my page right here, like I said before, the little comment thing right there, And then you can watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns right here, and watch the last episode of Grind Towards Success right there. Other than that, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate y'all. See y'all next time. Keep being awesome.